In the small mountain town of Granby, Colorado, a monster was born. It wasn't made of flesh and bone, but of steel, concrete, and one man's absolute refusal to back down. On June 4th, 2004, the ground didn't just shake, it crumbled. A massive armored bulldozer, looking like a post-apocalyptic tank, burst through the walls of a welding shop. It was impervious to bullets. It was unstoppable against the police. And it was on a mission to erase a town from the map. This is the story of Marvin Heemeyer, the man who spent a year building a steel tomb to get his revenge. Marvin Heemeyer was a master welder. He moved to Granby and opened Mountain View Muffler. For years, he was just another local business owner. But beneath the surface, a war was brewing. It started with a piece of land. Marvin bought a plot for his shop, but later the town council approved a plan to build a massive concrete plant right next to him. Marvin claimed this plant would block the only road to his business, effectively killing his livelihood. He tried to fight it the right way. He filed lawsuits. He gathered signatures. He attended every town meeting. But the system didn't just ignore him. It pushed back. The town fined him thousands of dollars for minor violations. Marvin felt cornered. In his mind, the local authorities were trying to crush him. On his tapes, he said, "I was always willing to be reasonable until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things." In 2002, Marvin sold his property, but he didn't leave. He leased back his shop for 6 months. During that time, he went dark. He locked the doors and began what he called the project. He took a Komatsu bulldozer and turned it into a fortress. He spent over 18 months welding steel plates together. He poured concrete between 2 layers of steel, creating armor over a foot thick. He knew he couldn't see out of windows, so he installed a high-tech camera system. He encased the cameras in bulletproof glass and added compressed air jets to blow away dust so he would never lose his vision. He even added air conditioning and gun ports. Using a crane, he lowered the armored shell onto the bulldozer while he was inside. There was no door. There was no way out. Once he was in until the end. At 3 p.m. on a Friday, the wall of Marvin's shop exploded. The Killdozer crawled into the sunlight. Its first stop was the concrete plant that started it all. In minutes, the building was flattened. Next, he turned toward the town. The police were terrified. They fired over 200 rounds at the machine. They tried to use flashbangs and explosives. Bullets literally bounced off the armor. The local sheriff described it as a moving fortress. For the next 2 hours, Marvin methodically destroyed every building on his list. The town hall, the local newspaper office, the homes of the people who had crossed him. He was systematically erasing the people he felt had wronged him. The destruction was estimated at over $7 million, but then the rampage hit a wall. Marvin drove the bulldozer into a hardware store, attempting to bring it down. As he did, the massive weight of the machine caused it to fall through the floor into a basement. The radiator was punctured. The engine began to fail. The Killdozer was stuck. The police swarmed the machine, but they still couldn't get in. They spent hours trying to find a way to penetrate the steel. Eventually, they heard a single shot from inside. Marvin Heemeyer had taken his own life. It took the authorities 12 hours and a blowtorch to finally cut through the armor and recover his body. The story of the Killdozer is a legend that divides people to this day. To some, Marvin is a folk hero, the man who fought back against a corrupt government. To others, he was a reckless criminal who almost killed innocent people because he could not get his way. The machine was later cut into small pieces and scattered across different scrapyards so it would never become a shrine. But even today, the world remembers the day the mountains shook. Marvin Heemeyer left behind a message that still echoes. God built me for this job. Whether he was a hero or a villain is up to you, but one thing is for sure. The world will never forget the name Marvin Heemeyer.